Alright, let's dive into a story that's been making the rounds lately. Scott Eastwood revealing that his dad, Clint Eastwood, once sent Kevin Costner home from the set of A Perfect World. Now, on the surface, this might seem like just another Hollywood gossip piece, but personally, I think there's a lot more to unpack here. It's not just about egos clashing on set, it's about the culture of filmmaking, the dynamics of power, and how legends like Clint Eastwood operate. So, let's break this down. First off, what makes this really interesting is the way Scott Eastwood frames his dad's approach. He mentions that Clint never raised his voice on set, which, if you take a step back and think about it, is pretty remarkable. In an industry where tempers flare and tensions run high, Clint's calm demeanor stands out. But here's the thing, sending someone home isn't exactly a quiet move. It's a power play, a statement. And I think that's where the real story lies. Clint didn't need to yell or create a scene, he simply exercised his authority as a director. What this really suggests is that sometimes, the most effective leadership isn't about being loud, it's about being decisive. Now, let's talk about Kevin Costner. According to Scott, Kevin was apparently staying in his trailer and not coming out, which, in my opinion, is a red flag. I mean, we've all heard stories about actors getting caught up in their own fame, but refusing to leave your trailer. That's a whole other level. What many people don't realize is that being on set isn't just about delivering lines, it's about being present, being part of a team. And if you're not willing to do that, well, maybe you don't belong there. From my perspective, Clint's decision to send Kevin home wasn't just about that day's shoot, it was about setting a standard for professionalism. One thing that immediately stands out is how quickly Kevin Costner apparently got the message. Scott mentions that the next day, Kevin was back on set, ready to work. This raises a deeper question, was Kevin's behavior a one-time thing, or was this a pattern? And if it was a pattern, why did it take Clint Eastwood to call him out? Personally, I think this speaks to the broader issue of accountability in Hollywood. When you're a big name, it's easy to get away with certain behaviors, but when someone like Clint steps in, it sends a message that no one is above the rules. Now, let's zoom out for a second. This story isn't just about Clint and Kevin, it's about the legacy of filmmaking itself. Clint Eastwood is a legend, not just as an actor but as a director who's known for his efficiency and no-nonsense approach. A detail I find fascinating is how Scott Eastwood credits his dad for shielding him from the pitfalls of child stardom. Growing up in Carmel, away from the Hollywood bubble, Scott got to see the industry for what it really is, both the good and the bad. And I think that's why he's able to tell this story with such clarity. He's not just recounting a tale, he's reflecting on what it means to work in this business. Finally, let's talk about the bigger picture. Stories like this remind us that filmmaking is as much about human dynamics as it is about art. It's about egos, power, and the unspoken rules that govern a set. In my opinion, what makes Clint Eastwood's move so impactful is that it wasn't about punishment, it was about respect. Respect for the crew, respect for the process, and respect for the craft. And that, I think, is the real takeaway here. If you take a step back and think about it, this isn't just a story about two actors, it's a lesson in leadership and accountability. So, here's my closing thought, what if more people in Hollywood, or any industry, for that matter, took a page from Clint Eastwood's book? What if we prioritized professionalism and respect over ego and entitlement? Personally, I think the world would be a better place. And who knows? Maybe Kevin Costner's trailer days were just a blip, but the fact that Clint called him out. That's a moment that'll be remembered for a long time. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below.